If you are Lifepath 7, you are governed by the planet Ketu. And in astrology, Ketu is known as a headless demon. Your head is what connects your mind to the physical body, which binds you into the material plane. But because the number 7 is governed by an entity that symbolically does not have a head, the number 7 is detached from the material realm, which gives the 7 an awareness of the spiritual realm. In tarot, the number 7 is represented by a chariot that is moving by itself and has no rider, which represents the unseen forces that guide the material plane, which means that the number 7 has an awareness of the soul. And if 7 is situated in your life path number, your whole entire life's mission is to become aware of the soul or become aware of the unseen forces that guide man. As a life path 7, your destiny is your mind, and you guys are going to identify with the mental aspect of yourself more so than any other aspect of your life. You guys are always going to be permanently detached from the material plane, and by default, you guys are never ever going to be able to find fulfillment, joy, or happiness anywhere in the physical realm. And this is why the number 7 is the most depressing number, because if they're not spiritual, their life is going to be miserable. As a life path 7, you're going to constantly go through experiences all throughout your life that are going to remind you of the worthlessness of the material realm. 7s are very intellectual, they're great investigators, and these people are masters at problem solving because they're very methodical and they solve all their problems and think in a very step-by-step basis. And this is what makes them very self-aware. The number 7 is the most self-aware number out of all the other numbers in numerology. These people hate loud noises and they spend a lot of time alone because they're always contemplating upon something. When a person is doing as much thinking as a 7 does, or spends that much time in their mind, they can't really be around a whole bunch of people or a whole bunch of noises because it's very distracting. And the last thing a 7 wants is for somebody to take them out of their mind or take them out of their thoughts. They hate that shit. Because of a 7's deeply contemplative mind, they tend to have smaller circles, fewer friends. Some of them may never have a girlfriend or never get married their whole entire lives. And a lot of 7s have very few relationships because they prefer to understand somebody at a very deep and profound level. And when you really try to understand somebody the way a 7 does, and when you take researching as serious as a 7 does, it takes a long time to grasp everything that you possibly want to understand. So a 7 is a great partner because they're going to understand every single aspect of their partner. But one issue that 7s struggle with is that a lot of people do not know them. Not even a 7's family members really know who they are. And part of the reason is the 7's fault because they don't really like sharing what's inside of their mind. Because a 7 treasures the things that is inside of their mind. 7s are like cancers. They have a tough shell, but inside that shell, they're very soft and they're very sweet. 7s come across as very detached and very cold, but deep down inside, they feel things at a very deep and profound level. But because they don't make the effort to formulate relationships, they don't get attached to anybody, and so they're able to remain unemotional. But they're very emotionally attached to the things that they investigate and to the information that they're trying to learn. Because these people have such a strong and sharp intuition, and because they're so aware of the unseen, these people are great with music because music works with sound. And we cannot see sound, but we can see the effects that sound has on reality. We see the effects that it has on matter. We see the effects that it has on the emotions of humans. Sounds are very, very powerful. And so 7s make great artists. One famous 7 is Trippie Redd. Another famous 7 is J. Cole. There are also plenty of other 7s in the music industry. Elon Musk is also a 7. Muhammad Ali is a 7. There's plenty of 7s. But a lot of 7s are fake. Most people do not know 7s as well as they think they do. And 7s are really good at masking who they really are on the inside. 7s have very strong, developed outer personalities. And you will never ever really notice a 7 out in public because their outer personality is completely different from who they really are. Very few people have seen the real side of a 7, like very few people. Most of the time, they're the only person that really knows who they truly are. And they they can literally get into a full relationship with somebody, be married to that person, and live with them all the way up until death. And that person will never truly know who they really are, and the 7 will never tell them. And so because 7s are so misunderstood, and because they're so afraid of sharing themselves with other people, a lot of them are very depressed. A lot of them are very lonely. And it's because they don't feel that interconnectedness that they feel with other people. Last thing that I'll say is that the 7 is the number of mastery. As a 7, you guys have the mental faculties to master whatever it is that you are investigating. And 7s go through a lot of mental issues and go through a lot of mental struggles, because a lot of times the questions that they have are not simple questions that most people will ask. A lot of times 7s ask very deep, profound, complex questions that take a significant amount of research, contemplation, introspection, and study. And so this is when a 7 can elevate their mind into the higher mind. And this is when they can tap into their intuition so that it can guide them into the answer that they're looking for. You guys are highly intelligent. You guys make great scientists. Y'all make great teachers. Y'all are great in the education industry, great in the music industry. Y'all are great actors. Anything that requires you to master something, learn about something, and master it, and then share it with the rest of the world, that will be phenomenal with you guys. And another thing I'll say about y'all is that y'all can't work with other people. A 7 needs to work by themselves, and they need to work alone, because y'all need that quietness. Y'all need that freedom to kind of explore all throughout your mind and do that contemplation that you need to do. You guys are also the most unmotivated people because you guys are not materialistic. Nothing on the external realm motivates you guys. So it's not that you're lazy, it's just you don't have a physical drive towards something. So a lot of the 7s are late bloomers, and what I would say is this: until a 7 finds their purpose, they're not really going to amount to anything in life. There are some numbers that don't really need to follow their purpose, and they can make a whole bunch of money and be very successful in life without ever following their heart. But a 7 cannot do that. A 7 has to tap in to that intuitive aspect of themselves and allow themselves to be guided into their higher purpose. And that'll be the only thing that they can do that fulfills them. As a 7, you cannot be motivated by anything that is attached to this material realm. You can't even be motivated by people that you love. The only thing that motivates you is something that has to do with beyond this realm. And so you guys need to devote yourself to something where you are doing a deep amount of research on something so that you can master, whether that's in a relationship or if it's some type of science or if it's the occult, anything that requires you to study something and then master it and then share it. But that's what you guys need to do for this lifetime. That was my interpretation on the Lifepath 7. If you'd like to learn about the specific type of Lifepath 7 that you have, if you have a different type of Lifepath number, if you'd like to learn about your psychic number, if you'd like to learn about your soul number, your name number, your personality number, or if you would like to learn how to see into your future by using the personal year number vibration calculation, click the link in my profile bio and read my book, Supreme Mathematics, a complete guide on Chaldean numerology.